Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Sean from All Things EV, and this is a recap of GM's reveal of their all-electric Hummer that they did earlier this evening. I want to get into some of the interesting specs, as well as how it compares to other electric vehicle trucks that are coming on the market. So let's go ahead and dive in as my cat Muffin hops up on the couch with me. This was an event that I was very much looking forward to. I was curious to see how a traditional automaker like GM would take a pass at an electric truck. And I know a lot of people in the electric vehicle community were looking forward to this as well. It started promptly at 8 p.m. Eastern, and it started off with an introduction being narrated by the NBA star LeBron James, which was an interesting way to start a reveal. It then rolled into highlighting some of the noteworthy features of the Hummer electric vehicle. And I've got to say that this from the front end definitely looks like a Hummer grill. It looks like the H2s from the earlier 2000s. When you take a look at the side profile, though, it reminds me of a Chevy Avalanche with a little bit more smoothed out edges. It's as if the Chevy Bolt and the Chevy Avalanche went to bed together, produced a baby. This is what it would look like. They rattle off some interesting features like their crab walk, and they say that it's a segment exclusive feature that allows the rear wheels and front wheels to steer at the same angle at low speeds, enabling diagonal movement of the vehicle for even greater maneuverability on challenging terrain. The truck also has air suspension that will raise it approximately 6 inches. It has what they call Ultra Vision, which is underbody cameras to allow you to see how close you are to any sort of obstacles on a trail, for example. They also highlighted a removable top they call the Infinity Roof, and it reminds me of what we might be used to with a Jeep Wrangler or that 1980s Trans Am that your father used to drive. So what kind of specs does this Hummer EV have, and how does it stack up to competitors that are about to hit the market as well? The Hummer EV will come in 4 variants, with the limited edition EV Edition 1 starting production in 2021. It'll have a starting price point of $112,595. That will offer a 350 plus mile range, 1,000 horsepower, 3 motors, and a 0 to 60 time of about 3 seconds. The one thing that I thought was really interesting that was missing from this announcement is what is the towing capacity and payload of this truck, something that truck owners usually care a lot about. Moving down from the highest variant, the next one is the Hummer EV 3X. Production will start in fall of 2022 with a starting price point of just under $100,000. It'll offer 300 plus miles of range, 800 horsepower, and 3 motors. Moving down from that will be the EV2X, and production will start in spring of 2023. It'll have a price tag of just under $90,000, a range of 300 plus, horsepower 625, and only 2 motors. And the entry-level variant for the Hummer EV is the EV2. Production will begin in spring of 2024, have a price tag of just under $80,000, a 250 plus mile range, and a 625 horsepower with 2 motors. So how does that stack up to, let's say, the Cybertruck? The Cybertruck will be offered in 3 variants. The most expensive will be the tri-motor. Production will start in late 2021, Tesla says, have a price tag of just under $70,000, 500 plus miles of range, 3 motors, a 14,000 pound plus towing capacity, and a 0 to 60 time of under 2.5 seconds. The variant below that will be the dual motor, have a late 2021 production date, be just under $50,000 with a 300 plus mile range, offer 2 motors, a 10,000 pound towing capacity, and a under 4.5 second 0 to 60. And their entry-level variant will be the single motor with production date of 2022, a price tag of just under $40,000, a 250 plus mile range, a single motor, a 7,500 plus pound towing capacity, and a 0 to 60 of just under 6.5 seconds. And what about Rivian's R1T? They'll offer 3 variants, with the largest one being the 180 kilowatt hour pack. and a June 2021 production start date, a range of 400 plus miles, horsepower 750, 4 motors, 11,000 pound towing capacity, a 1,764 payload capacity, and a 0 to 60 of 3.2 seconds. I was not able to find the production date for the 135 kilowatt hour pack, but it will offer a 300 plus mile range and similar performance specs. And then their entry-level variant will be the 105 kilowatt hour pack at a $69,000 price point, a 230 plus mile range with similar performance specs as the previous two. And last is the Bollinger B2. This will have a production date of late 2021, a price tag of a whopping $125,000, a range of 200 miles, a horsepower of 614, 2 motors, a towing capacity of 7,500 pounds, payload capacity of 5,000, and a 0 to 60 of 4.5 seconds. I want to take a quick moment to thank today's video sponsor, Piedmont Lithium. They're publicly traded on the NASDAQ at PLL, and they're doing some really cool stuff with a spodumene hard rock mine in North Carolina. This spodumene is processed and turned into lithium and then put into things like electric vehicles. So if you're following the electric vehicle industry, you have some interest in what happens before the battery gets put into an electric vehicle, I'd recommend taking a look at Piedmont Lithium. I'll put their link to their website in the video description. Now, back to the video. The one thing that stands out to me is that the GMC Hummer EV will have a very challenging time competing with what Tesla is offering. Tesla seems to offer the most price competitive offering with the most amount of range and towing capacity. All 4 of these trucks will be coming online in 2021. The question is, who will be able to snag the most market share? If you can get past the odd design of the Cybertruck, I think that will be the best bang for your buck. The most disappointing thing with the Hummer EV is that it appears to have around about a 5-foot bed. Now, they don't say specifically, but looking at the pictures in video, it does appear that it has a shorter bed, which means that you won't be able to put as many things in the back of that truck, and the payload will reflect that as well. One of the things that I was really disappointed in with this reveal tonight was no mention of a towing capacity, and no mention of it means that either it's underwhelming or they're still trying to figure that out. For the majority of truck owners, towing capacity is really important because they're most likely using that truck to tow something, a boat, jet skis, 4-wheelers, and no mention of it might be enough of a pause for truck enthusiasts to hold their breath until GMC releases those specs. And while watching Engineering Explains recap of the Hummer, he notates that the battery pack at the most expensive level will be more than 200 kilowatt hours. That is a thick battery pack, which means that it's probably going to be heavy. And it also means that that battery pack will be incredibly expensive. So can GM get this battery pack inexpensive enough to make this vehicle a profitable endeavor? And because of the size of this battery pack and the weight, my guess is that is exactly why this vehicle starts out at $80,000 and goes all the way up to nearly $115,000. The weight of this vehicle will likely push it north of 6,000 pounds, which if you're in the United States, it will likely qualify for the heavyweight vehicle tax credit if you use it for business purposes. So in that regard, it is a good thing, but it will be a tire-eating machine. Overall, I think it's an okay looking electric vehicle truck from a traditional automaker. Will it appeal to the younger crowd? Probably not. The target audience is probably 40 to 45 years and up, and male. That wraps up this overview of the GMC Hummer. What are your thoughts? What do you like and dislike about this truck, and would you put money down to purchase this? Sound off in the comments down below. Sean Mitchell, All Things EV, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch everyone on the next video.